Welcome to Those Who Can't Do. I am your host, Andrea Forkham, and today we have our sometimes co-host, Denver Riley. Hey, girl.
Yes. Hey, girly.
Fresh from Down Under, which sounds like a Summer's
Down
Eve
Under.
commercial a little bit.
Wow, they should take that.
You're welcome, Summer's Eve. How was Australia? Tell me literally everything.
Was so beautiful. First of all, it was not what I expected at all. We were in Sydney. I had no really expectations simply because I didn't know a whole lot of the geography of Australia except
Shocking.
like kangaroos.
Shocked by this.
Right, no one's surprised by that at all. So
Right.
it was like kangaroos, koalas, and Vegemite.
Sorry,
Koala?
are you saying it with an Australian accent?
Of course I am.
Okay, great.
That's about all I can say. Friday night, we're going to go see the Koalas. That's all I got. I thought I was going to see Robert Irwin. But
he just posted like a bunch of thirst traps on Instagram, in case you were wondering.
I know. Oh, I don't have to wonder because I saw them.
Okay, great.
It was really wonderful. My sister is doing a semester at the University of Sydney, and we got to go look at that campus. Stunning, gorgeous. I wish universities looked like that here. It felt so academic. You know what I'm saying? Like it made me want to go back to school just to be like Elle Woods it up.
Oh, okay. You're going to be a lawyer?
Yes.
Is your next step in life, your journey?
Surprise, guys. I'm going to be a lawyer. But the people are so incredibly wonderful and nice. I mean, every single person that we asked like directions for, or even just like the restaurants, the convenience stores, could not have been nicer. Like nothing but positive energy. Everyone's just happy to be there. It was really interesting. We Ubered 80% of the time because while my dad did get a rental car, driving was an experience.
Which side of the road are they on?
The other side.
Okay, got it. So on the left side.
The left.
Got it.
The steering wheel's on the right side of the car.
Got it.
Yeah. So not only did the rental car give us a huge car, it was a van.
Oh.
A van for my
the three of you.
Poor father to drive around. So we Ubered most of the time. A lot of the Uber drivers had a lot to ask about the politics in America and just like how we're feeling. You know, that was just like interesting conversations to have. But we went to the zoo. I mean, the zoo was probably my top favorite thing. We thought it was going to be Robert Irwin's zoo because, you know, he works at a zoo sanctuary.
So because Robert Irwin works at a zoo in Australia, you automatically assumed that the zoo that you were going to was his.
No, yes.
Oh, okay, got it. That's like when people come to California and they're like, I'm going to meet so many celebrities. It's going to be so amazing.
Do you live next to Tom Cruise? It's like the same thing, except it wasn't his zoo. So he does have one. It just wasn't his.
He has his own zoo?
Yeah, he like had I think I'm wrong. But it's do you follow him on TikTok?
I do, but I don't always see his stuff.
We've got rest. Like that's how he's like introduced to these snakes and like
just like his dad.
So cute with them. Yeah, he is just living out him and his dad's dream. That's so sad.
That is very. Did you see the video of his dad's?
Oh my God!
Like talking about how like. Oh, you know, like Steve Irwin talking about how like my job is done when I've passed on the care of animals and wildlife to my children and blah, blah. And then it I
could throw up. It's so sad.
And then the video goes to like his kids like carrying on the legacy, and it's
there's another one of Steve Irwin's wax. Did you see this one? His like wax figure.
Yeah.
And Robert Irwin is like, it's just so, I can't even talk about it. I will cry. Like, it's so nice to see him just like not as a picture. I haven't seen him as a picture. And so
I saw that too. And I'm so mad that they did that and that there were so many photographers in his face.
100%. That felt violating.
Literally infuriating that like he wasn't given some private time to like
I didn't like that either.
that because
Mhm.
very, very upsetting. I'm trying right now to figure out which zoo. Which zoo did you go to?
We went to the Sydney Zoo.
So does Australia have like one? I'm looking at australiazoo.com.au and there is a lovely picture
Of me?
of what if it was
Dude.
literally just like, welcome to the Australia Zoo. Denver came here. Queen.
Then they deserve a raise.
Denver,
Whoever
right.
that little intern that did that, it deserves a raise.
So that is like the website and it's just Irwin explosion all over this. Like there's pictures
Excuse
of
me?
Robert Irwin as not in a dirty way.
Okay, I
Respect
didn't
the
think
family.
that.
He's a
Jeez.
literal
Yeah, Andrea.
child.
No, I didn't think so. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Taronga Zoo, Sydney is where we went.
So yeah, I think that like Australia Zoo is the home of the crocodile hunter, but I also don't know where that is. So I've never been to
Crocodile
Australia.
Hunter, different than Crocodile Dundee?
Same.
Okay.
Yes, different.
Okay. So I know
Disrespect.
the disrespect is great, and I'm really sorry. I apologize to all zoologists everywhere.
Just apologize to the entirety of Australia right now because they treated you so well when you were there and you just disrespected them and Steve Irwin and his legacy. So
Aussies, I could not be
I don't
more
know if it's
sorry.
better or worse doing it with an Australian accent.
I stopped
Aussies.
myself. I stopped myself. But I do have to say, the zoo, there's something about being at a zoo, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just re-centers you, not to be like woo-woo. It seriously does, of like, there's so many things out there to just learn about. And these sweet little baby animals just existing and being so cute. I'll send in some photos of the koalas. Like, I didn't expect to be obsessed with koalas, but they could not be cuter. I mean, just like, there's one sleeping that can't be
Aw.
comfy on his neck.
Have you seen the ones at the San Diego Zoo? They have a bunch of koalas there. Don't they all have chlamydia?
No. Yes, they do. Which I was like, I don't want to hold one because they have chlamydia.
Can chlamydia jump from koala to human? Is that a
I
thing?
don't know, Andrea, can it?
It's a great question. Inquiring minds want to know. I feel like you're disrespecting now one of their favorite animals in Australia, but
no, I'm not. It's just I
Okay.
can't be disrespectful if it's a fact.
let's see. Can
Right?
koala chlamydia transfer to humans? It's one of the suggested things. We're not even in the minority for wondering that.
Okay. See? I'm going to go with no because in
Okay.
that case, what happened? I'm scared.
Okay. So according to the Google machine, it says there are no documented cases of humans catching chlamydia from koalas. But who is going to be like, I got
The
chlamydia?
tester?
No. Who's going to be like, I got chlamydia? And then be like, who was it? And be like,
A koala.
it was Chi-Chi the koala down in Exhibit 4. Who's going to admit that? Of course that's not documented.
No, that's embarrassing.
Okay. So it says you can't catch it from holding or touching a koala.
Okay, so that's good news.
Yeah.
I didn't do either of those things, but you know they also eat go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying to give you further education on this. It's very important.
I do want to know.
It says it's possible for humans to contract chlamydia from livestock that koalas have infected. So my question is that what are
they hanging out?
How are koalas infecting the other livestock? And
livestock?
That makes me think of pigs.
Right. That's exactly where my brain was going.
Or
in
sheep.
what world are pigs, sheep, and a koala walking into a bar? When is that happening? I've never heard that joke. Have you? Because it doesn't happen.
No. But they are saying that some scientists are studying the koala chlamydia and trying to figure out a long-lasting cure for humans. So the koalas are really doing a good thing there with
They're sacrificing their bodies for human race, and that is admirable.
Animal testing on koala chlamydia is where we are right now. So anyways, I interrupted you. What were you sharing about your time?
I forgot. My sister. Oh, yeah. Okay, so koalas were great. We saw some dingoes. Are you familiar with what those look like?
It's like a coyote, right?
It's like a sweet little puppy dog that I want to take home. Every animal I saw that was probably dangerous, I wanted in my backyard.
Okay,
A dingo, I
you
want. A
familiar?
tiger, I want.
Are you
Giraffe,
familiar?
I want. Sorry.
Mike, Denver.
Sorry.
Are you familiar with the Dingo Ate My Baby story, though? You're
This is a
not?
poem?
No, this is a thing.
Explain,
Okay.
Linda. What?
So I'm going to try and remember the date. I listened to a podcast on it, so obviously I am an expert.
Right.
It was and there was a movie about it.
What?
There was this woman named Lindy Chamberlain Creighton, whose daughter, she was like out in the outback with her 9-week-old daughter in 1980.
Oh,
okay,
no.
so this was before you, before me, all of that kind of stuff. And she was out in the outback camping with her, and baby went missing. And she told everyone that a dingo ate her baby. And she was actually tried and convicted of murder of her child, and was only officially pardoned like 7 years later. And they found out that in fact, like her little baby Azaria was killed by a dingo. And she and that phrase,
Oh
like
my
a dingo ate my
God.
baby, was apparently like in the zeitgeist so much that like I never realized that that was related to a true story. But not only was it a true story, but the woman was convicted of it and then like tried in the court of public opinion for sure. Like I can't imagine if this was out and about like during TikTok and all of that. Like this was long before, like in the 80s.
Goodness, no.
Yeah. So don't bring home a dingo is what I'm telling you.
Well, good news is I don't have a baby, but that's so bad. But that poor woman to be like, you are convicting me of murdering my sweet baby, and now I have to serve in jail.
Yeah, for 7 years, it looks like she did.
The psychological damage to that poor woman. Wow. Yeah. Well, my sister did say they're cute, but they're really mean.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
Which I understand. But they look cute. But that's just, they're baby hunters, I guess.
Mm-hmm. They're horrible. Well, I mean, they're like, I think probably opportunist hunters, and babies are defenseless and all of that. So pretty deeply horrifying. And to be convicted of that and to like lose your child anyways, horrifying. But then she was like in prison for like 7 years. So maybe
I hope she's doing well. That's really sad.
Yeah. I'm sure she's not. I'm sure that is something that you never recover from. So.
No, never.
But yeah, tell me more about your sister's time there. What university?
University of Sydney.
Amazing.
I'm so glad she decided to do that. Not to say that I never thought she would, but it is such a scary experience leaving the country until you get there and you're like, this is the funnest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But from my own studying abroad experience, I think it's just such, like, I would not be the human that I am today because of, you have to grow up. You have to learn how to do all this stuff by yourself. You get to meet so many different people. Like, it is that taste of, again, how big the world is. And we got to get out of our little bubble sometimes and be uncomfortable. So I'm just so proud of her for actually doing that. And yeah, the weather, it was very hot because
it's summer.
It's summer.
Right. Yeah.
That was kind of bizarre to see like Santa Claus around and it's summertime. You know what I mean? Like,
you're in San Diego, so that's not that crazy. But
it's not, but at least like at night times here, it's like very chilly. No, it was still
it's just hot.
80 degrees hot. Luckily, it wasn't that humid, which I can't do, like the humidity, you know?
Not a fan.
Not a fan. And yeah, just Australia is huge. It is.
Yeah. And there's like a fat chunk of it that's uninhabitable.
Yes. The middle part is, it's basically just land, like nothing. Yeah. We went to the Sydney Opera House. Stunning. Beautiful. I mean, I've never been to a symphony before. So that was like, even if you don't like classical music, you have to go. Which, by the way, who doesn't?
Right.
That's crazy.
You went to a symphony at the... Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. And it was so like... my family and I just kept saying like, we're in Australia, you guys. Like that's so bizarre. And we're doing all of these iconic staple things that
Yeah.
it just didn't feel, I'm still processing. Like it just
I
didn't
love
feel
it.
real. Yeah.
So you said where did you study abroad?
I studied abroad in London at the University of Roehampton, which is about 15 minutes like northeast of London, very quick to get to on like the bus and like the tube, the subway.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, so incredible and amazing. I think about it literally every day.
I didn't do a study abroad. I took a gap year because
Uh-huh.
study abroad is expensive and my parents had family in
Yeah.
Germany. So I took a gap year and I for sure have stories like these, but I want to know what is like the most like, oh my gosh, I'm so screwed right now moment that you had when you were abroad. Because that is one of those things that I think it changes your brain chemistry to have a level of like self-efficacy and self-reliance when you have been in those situations. So what happened?
So I know one immediately. So my study abroad group and I were very close, which I feel like is not the norm for study abroad because sometimes they're separated into major or just you get to know the local people. We became extremely close. So all of our trips that we did were together. So we booked a trip to Spain, went to Barcelona, and myself and two other girls that were in the trip with us, we wanted to go see some like iconic art. I can't for the life of me think of what it was called, but it was where the Cheetah Girls filmed their little like iconic moment in Barcelona, whatever. We had to get up super early to do that because the bookings for the tour was really expensive. So we have a great day. I mean, it was like wonderful. It was so stunning, the area that we were in. We get back to our hotel and we were all going to go out for like a pre-dinner before we went out because Europeans are built different. They go out, they start, you know this, they go out at like 12.
Yeah.
Like that's when you go out, midnight.
Mm-hmm. When you leave.
When you leave. So we all have our passports, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there getting ready, gathering all my things. My passport and my wallet is missing. Missing. And I say, let us all take a second. Where in the is my passport?
Yeah.
And my wallet with my debit card, my credit cards, my cash, my student ID for my University of Roehampton, my student ID for University of Hawaii, gone. And so my dear friends, we looked high and low in our hotel, couldn't find it. I don't think I ended up, I think this is, it's one of those moments where you're like, I just block it out because it was so traumatic.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be stuck in Spain.
Yeah.
And they're going to arrest me. And I mean, spiraling. I don't have
deported.
a visa. I'm going to get deported. I'm going to go to jail. They're never going to let me back into Spain again. This just is the epitome of who I am. We end up finding it in the couch, but like the next day in the afternoon. So,
gosh.
For that 12 hours, I was bawling. I called my bank. I canceled my car, all my cards.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had, the Apple Pay was super, it wasn't as big like here in America as it was when I was this was in 2018. So they'd use tap and pay like everywhere. So I was like, okay, I still have something in there. But I mean, it was terrifying. It's such an indescribable, terrifying feeling.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm like, there's no way this is real. This is a joke, right?
Those moments in life when you are literally sitting there going like, let's not have this moment happening right now. Like I cannot. Like this is not my reality. This is not happening. Yeah. No. This can't be happening. I had a situation. So I lived in Germany with family friends and loved it. They were so fun. They were so cool. And my brother came over. My brother's 2 years older than me. And he came over to visit. And while he was there, I was like, well, let's go and visit some other places. So I hadn't been to Amsterdam yet. And where I lived in Germany, was like honestly like 45 minutes from the border, but we're like, let's just take the train. Yeah. It was super close. I once got lost and ended up in Holland on accident. But that is
like
not
a great experience.
that was not honestly. The story. So my brother and I are like, okay, cool. Like, let's go to Amsterdam together. Well, it'll be super fun because I didn't feel super comfy traveling alone, but going with my big brother, I was like, that'll be fine.
We can do this.
Yeah. So we go, and this is like, I'm 18, my brother's 20. And so we're like, we're going to stay at a hostel. It's going to be bunk beds.
Oh God.
Just like dirty travelers everywhere, like because you're a teenager and also because
and that's cool.
Yeah, like all of
no,
that
it is
stuff.
though.
Like,
when you're a teenager,
yes, when you're a teenager, you're like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna see the world, and I'm gonna sleep in places with bed bugs. It's just gonna be me and myself and my soul, you know. And I was like,
eat, pray, love,
pray, love my way. Except I don't think that movie had even come out yet, nor had the movie Hostel had also not come out yet. Or what's that kidnapping
body chills one? All of the movies.
No,
that's my worst nightmare.
Like, I will find you.
One. Yeah, what is that?
Taken.
I will find you. Taken.
Yeah, Taken. That was such a bad
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Mission accomplished. That movie also had not come out yet. Okay, so I'm
scared.
A dumb 18-year-old without a really thriving prefrontal cortex is how I'm going to preface the story. Okay. So my brother and I show up to Amsterdam, and I had, people do not believe me when I say this, but I had decided before I went over to Europe that I was not going to drink. Like, I did not drink, in fact, until my 21st birthday. Don't roll your eyes at me. I'm telling the truth. Like, I didn't have the desire. I wasn't interested.
That's beautiful.
So on my 21st birthday, I did, and I do, but like I didn't. And a big part of it was because like there's family history with alcoholism.
Yeah.
My parents didn't have alcohol in the house growing up at all. So it wasn't like there was wine with dinner that she could be like, here's a sip, you know. I would have had to go out of my way a little bit because my friends weren't big partiers either. Mm-hmm. So I had told my parents, my mom was a little concerned beforehand because she didn't want me to go over and just get blasted the whole time over there because
of course.
In Germany at 16 you can drink, and at 18 you can have hard liquor because they don't consider beer alcohol.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. That's a norm for
a lot of
I think most European countries. When we were in France, my sister got to have a glass of wine and she was 15, 14.
Yeah, they're like, it's
crazy.
Fine. They literally do not care. And I decided like I wasn't going to drink when I was in Europe. So, and thank God, because I got myself in so much trouble completely stone cold sober. So I went with my brother to Amsterdam, and he is, you know, having the best of times. I think we went to a comedy show.
Is he drinking?
He was not of age yet. And he is not the main person in this story. And my parents listened to the podcast. So,
so no.
I think he was 21 though. I'm trying to think.
No, he was a baby. It's okay.
He was 21. And either way, it was legal there. So we're in Amsterdam, and we decide after going to this comedy show, you know, we don't want to go back to the hostel yet. We knew we had to be on the train at like 8 a.m. the next morning. And so we're going to go to like this like nightclub, right? And have you seen the movie Eurotrip?
Lit. No.
Oh my God, Denver, I need to educate you. Please go watch Eurotrip.
Okay.
It's insane.
Okay.
But it was very much like a European nightclub rave kind of energy to it.
I love that.
Right. And so I'm there with my brother, and I'm like, people are going to think we're together. We have to like separate. So we like ignore each other.
Yeah.
Right. And I end up dancing with some random Dutch guy, and most of the people in Holland like speak very good English, and in Europe in general, like in Germany and in Holland, all of these places, most of them speak very good English. So we're dancing and stuff, and like I end up like making out with this guy for too long, right? And he it's so gross when I think about it. Okay, so like he had like that scruff, you know, like a 5 o'clock shadow. But I think he also must have had some kind of like scented oint. What the stuff they like pat on their faces when men shave?
Like
shaving, like aftershave or something. Because from making out with this guy at the club there, like literally I had a rash for weeks after from the side of my mouth from making out with this guy. And it
Ow!
was so I don't want to think about it too much.
Do you have a picture? Not for them, but for me?
No. Again, I would like to point out prefrontal cortex not working. And so my brother is like, okay. I'm like, I am really tired at this point. I want to go back to the hostel.
I have a rash and I'm tired.
Well, I didn't have a rash at that point. My face just was a little sore. And the guy was like, do you want me to walk you back to your hostel?
The Holland man?
Yes, the Dutch man.
The Dutch man.
I had no phone because this is 2006. Okay. I had no phone.
Phones in 2006?
They did, but I was also in Europe, so they had like prepaid ones that you can have.
Right.
And I think maybe I had one of those, but it was out of minutes. I had no money.
Not a reliable one. And
I had no money. Okay, so no phone, no money. I'm in Amsterdam, don't know my way back to my room. Mm-hmm. So I tell Dutch man, here's where I'm staying. And he's like, oh, I know where that is. I can walk you.
Andrea. You guys.
I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. You guys. And I'm like,
you guys go ahead and log off right now, actually, because I'll take care of this one.
As far as my parents should know, that was the end of it. And I just stayed with my brother and then went back to the hostel. I decide that I'm like, I am so grown. I'm going to let this guy walk me back to the hostel. So he takes his little bike because everyone is on bikes in Holland. And
like
we leave.
Bicycle?
And I tell, like a bicycle, not a motorcycle, like a bicycle. So I tell my brother, I was like, hey, he's going to walk me back to the hostel. My brother's like, that's not a good idea. And I was like, shut up. I'm grown. Like, I've been in Europe for months now. I am a citizen of the world.
Creeps are in every country, okay? I'm really nervous about what's about to come out of your mouth.
Okay. So then we start going to the hostel, right? And we're walking and he starts saying like, I have to go to the bathroom really bad. Do you mind if we run back to my apartment? And I was like, no. We're not doing that.
Pee on the ground.
I was like literally not going to do that. Because
pee your pants.
I also literally like between making out with him, I was like, I'm not going to sleep with you just so we're on the same page.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. I literally told him that. I was like, I'm not sleeping with you, just so you know, like that's not where this is headed. And then I left with him. And so we're walking and he's like, I have to go back to my apartment. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to your apartment with you. I at least had that iota of common sense to not go to like a private secondary location with this man I literally just met. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he says, fine then, I'm leaving. And he jumps on his bike and leaves me in downtown, like by a canal in Amsterdam. I have no idea where I am.
Yeah.
I have no money. I have no working cell phone. And I'm literally just standing there like,
my God.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's no one. And also, by the way, there is no one around. We have walked far enough away and taken several turns. So I don't know how to get back to where we were.
No.
Because we'd been walking for like 10 minutes and it was probably like a 20-minute walk to our hostel. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. Like
everything above that you were not drinking.
Literally, right? Like thank God I was sober. Thank God I was sober. Thank God I knew enough to literally, I would get cans of Red Bull and I would open the can myself. I would not take drinks from random people or any of that kind of, like, I would literally take a can of Red Bull and I would drink out of my can of Red Bull. And so I end up walking just in the same direction I was going for another 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
I almost have a panic attack, but then got it together because in those situations, like
you can't panic.
You can't. You literally cannot because nothing is going to get fixed. And so I'm like,
also you're a sitting duck if you do that.
Yeah. And I'm like,
in certain countries. Yeah.
No one is around. I am like, okay, I don't know how to get back, but eventually daylight will come and I will find someone who will help me. So I walk. And about, like, I would say 5 to 10 minutes later, little Dutch man comes back. Apparently he felt bad.
What do you want?
No, because I was like, he's like, I'll take you the rest of the way to your hostel. And I was like, great. And we did not speak to each other at all. And then he like came to the end of the road where my hostel was, or like there was like a road, and he's like, that's the hostel over there. And so I'm walking. By this time, the sun is like starting to come up.
Oh,
I see my
Lord.
Like my brother is coming back like at the same time as me because he had been still at the club dancing and all of that.
Yeah, of course.
And,
of course he was.
And so he sees me. He's like, you left like an hour and a half ago. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, and I told him, and he's like, I'm going to fight that guy. And I'm like, no, he's literally gone. Like, good luck finding him. Like, yeah. So that's one of the times that I made some poor choices. So much anxiety. Some poor choices.
Could have been
so much worse.
So incredibly worse. Like, truly.
So much worse. I made so many bad choices that would put me on a true crime documentary that would make people go like, what was she thinking?
Oh.
Literally so dumb.
I mean, that's another reason why I'm so thankful every trip that we took, it was minimum 4 people. And we all knew no one is leaving without the other one. Yeah, so it was nice to have that. We still got into like, we made decisions that were probably like, questionable. Group effort, questionable. But at least there was one person to be like, I got you. Everything's going to be fine. Yeah. Because holy hell, that is crazy.
Not my best move. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Great.
And then
don't get lost out there, guys.
That's right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Those Who Can't Do. Okay, so this is coming out in February, but now today. Happy
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's like
my
in 10 days.
Second favorite holiday.
10 more days.
Second favorite holiday.
Is
love
it?
Yeah, I love.
Hey,
is that pathetic?
You had a it's not pathetic. Why would you say
pathetic
that?
When it's not pathetic. I just love it so much, and then I pretend like I hate it, but I don't.
Right. You also had a Galentine's Day event that I went to. I think. Right?
Did. Yes, that was so. Did you enjoy yourself?
I had so much fun. Do you want to tell people what we did at the Galentine's Day event that you threw?
If I can remember, I have a dear friend named Julia, who is the most amazing artist. Like, she is everything. She she was invited to the Galentines. Obviously, I didn't just use her to teach us how to paint something, but we basically had empty canvases, and she gave us a little painting experience lesson situation. Did we select what we wanted? I think that's what it was.
She had done like pencil outlines of women's bodies.
That's right.
And then we selected which one we wanted, and then we painted them however we wanted to.
And it was so fun. Yeah, she had probably like 12 different bodies just like sketched out. It was so fun. Did we have dinner? We had dinner.
We had so much. There was so much food there.
So much food.
So much food. It was lovely.
It was so lovely. And it was just so like body positive energy. Like, and she made it look so easy. I'm like, why doesn't mine look like yours? Yeah. My painting does not look like that.
And I did a painting, and like mine was like, I don't know, it showed like the front of like a naked lady or whatever. And so I painted it, and I really liked it. I felt like I did a really good job. But then now I am in this situation where I'm like, what do I do with this naked lady painting?
Yeah, do you still have it?
I do. So I have it in our master bathroom. And
cute.
I had it like sitting, because we have like a little like shelf thing behind the toilet. And so I put it there, and Steven was like, my husband was like, Andrea, people are going to think that like literally I'm just like, let me get this Renaissance nudie to stare at while I'm painting. And I was like, no, I painted it. Like, I was like, I painted it. Like, it's not weird because I painted it. I came into the bathroom one day and it was turned around.
No.
And I was like, what the heck? Why did you turn it around? He's like, I didn't. And my daughter was like, yeah, I turned it around. That's private.
Little baby girl, you are right. In your own bathroom.
Yes. It's private. It's private. And so
that is
now
honestly precious.
I was so mortified because I was like, I don't want, like, like she doesn't
Aw.
understand, you know? And so I tried to explain it
course.
to her, but like she's 6. So I was like, all right, fine. So now we still have it on the shelf, but it is like behind like a closed, now it looks hidden, which makes it seem more nefarious, but I don't know what else to do. Like,
I mean, you could balls to the wall, just hang it up in the living room and be like, yeah, and what?
yeah, welcome to my home.
That's where mine is, I'm pretty sure.
You are a single
But I live
woman
alone.
living alone.
Right. Right. So when I have people come over, which is never,
Right. I have a hard enough time keeping my kids to keep their clothes on. That is
let's talk
a
about kids
constant
for a
challenge.
second. Can we?
Let's. Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before the podcast how I am exhausted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like everyone in the world. Like, I know, woo is me. I mean, whatever. How do people have kids? I'm not even kidding, because how do you do that? I go from teaching all day and I get home. Yesterday, again, this is going to sound like first world problems, like shut your mouth, like no one cares, you're so blessed. Yesterday, I was very proud of myself because I got to do all these things. I went to work, and then I went to my second job work, and then right after that, I went grocery shopping. Directly after that, I went to a workout class. Then I came home, made dinner, shower, went to bed, whatever.
Right.
I can't do that if I have a kid.
No, obviously not. You literally would go to your normal job and then schlep your children home and then make them food and then get them ready for bed and then put them to bed.
Well, how is anyone who has a kid okay?
I just saw a TikTok that was talking about, Ballerina Farms, that creator, and
homesteading trad wife.
Yes. And like the person who was making this video was talking about how every time that woman posts something, someone says like, you look so tired, you look so tired. And she was like, listen, like this woman has like 8 children and is running like taking care of her kids. Right. Yes, they have help on the farm, but it is still a working farm. And then she's creating all of this content, and she's also creating like recipes for her content, and she's doing and sometimes she's also like competing for Miss Universe and like maintaining all of these different things and all of that. And whether or not you would like people agree with the way she chooses to live her life, there is no doubt she is doing a lot.
Busting her booty.
Yeah. And everyone was like, she's like, so maybe just like leave her alone and let her be tired, because I think that's the biggest thing is like there are going to be stages of our lives where we are going to be literally in a constant state of exhaustion. And I would love to say that like, oh, like it's not that hard. You can just do it. But the absolute hardest time of my life was, it was also 2020, but when I had my son, April of 2020, and I was in grad school and I was teaching, and that was over Zoom. I didn't even have to leave the house for that one. Like
still.
My first kid, I was, oh gosh, I had her and I had 8 weeks before I had to go back to work, which by the way, I don't even think we let puppies be separated from the moms like at that point. I think it's like usually like a little bit more. But so I was dealing with all of that. She was a very colicky baby. And so she wasn't sleeping very well. She was a terrible nurser. So I was in physical pain every time I nursed her, to the point I remember digging my toes into the carpet to deal with the pain, because you are just trying to have some outlet for that pain and not sleeping and not feeling like you're failing, because number one, I wasn't producing a lot of milk. So I was like trying to like eat enough so that I would produce enough, but then I felt really fat and gross and felt really unattractive. And then I had to go back to work and show up for my students and try and be there. But I also had this thing in my head that that my kids were going to be 100% breastfed for however long. Like I was going to do no formula.
Right.
And no one was pressuring me to do that. No one said I had to. I don't care what anybody else does to feed their kids. I would never have told anyone else to do that. But because of like being fueled by this mom guilt that I was going back to work. And so the least I could do was that is insane. Like now without all of those chemicals flooding my brain and all of that, like I know that that's not true and that like a fed baby is a happy,
Mhm.
like all of those
Mhm.
things, right? And I remember so vividly going back to work and I would have to pump every 2 hours. And so I'd have like these giant
At
canisters
work?
on me at work where I would lock my door
Holy.
and I would do it for like 15 minutes. And so my whole lunch period, every break, all of that kind of stuff, right before work, right after work. And because I also only produced about 1.5 ounces. And I know you don't know like what that, so every time I would pump,
I
I
don't.
would produce about 1.5 ounces. For moms who are breastfeeding, no, that's not a lot, which is why I was constantly pumping. You're supposed to kind of have like between 4 and 6 ounces.
Oh
And
my
so I had to
gosh.
pump way more because pumps just aren't as effective as babies nursing. And so it just like there was all of those things. And then I was in grad school. And because guys, and yeah, for some of you, you're like, you were in grad school both times? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I was 2
Yeah.
master's degrees and a PhD.
Yeah.
So I was in grad school forever.
A boss.
Ugh. To answer the question of like, how do you do it is like you find reserves that you do not know exist because you
Yeah.
don't have a choice. Like I
You know,
couldn't
yeah.
not go to work in the same way that you're like, why am I like now you're doing multiple jobs? And like what you just described yesterday is like a crazy amount of stuff that most people would be like, I like cannot do all of that in one day, you know?
Yeah.
But like
I think
when you have no other options, you're just like, well, I guess I'm going to do it because I have no other options.
and that's so funny you say that because that's literally what my mom has said. Because I talk about, I mean, I would love to be a mom. Like I definitely want children, and like I love kids. I've always loved kids. I have baby fever really bad right now. I don't know what's going on. Like I just see a baby and I'm like, I need to hold you and I want my own bestie. However, I am so completely, every time I say that to someone, they're like, no, you gotta wait. Like I do understand I'm not physically, mentally, emotionally, financially there yet at all. So when I bring up like, oh, I can't wait to have a baby to my mom, and I'm like, how do you do, we've had the same conversations. She says the same things of like, without it being so dismissive, it is just, you just do it. Like you
You
find a way to do it and your body does it, and you're exhausted. But yeah, like
yeah.
you said, you have no other choice. And that's, I think, why I always hate, I don't know if it's like imposter syndrome or it's just like, I don't know. I always think like, I don't know why I'm complaining I'm so tired, because I mean, our little group, me and Abby are the only ones without kids. Like,
Right.
so I see how you all do it, like super moms. I have no reason really to complain because there's another layer of like, you go home and you're still on. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
here's I think the thing that I've also realized through this time is like I will have a day where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. The hill that I just climbed always feels like the hardest hill. Like
Mhm.
that's always how it is. So it doesn't matter. Like I don't know. Like I've been
Right.
in some really within reason. Like there were definitely times in my life where I was under so much stress that it was like coming out in like night sweats and
Yeah.
panic attacks and stuff. Like, so
Yes.
there is
Yes.
obviously a limit to what our bodies can handle as far as stress. But I think and you will know when you hit that limit because then you do start having things like panic attacks. And I've been
Yeah.
there before.
Yeah.
But I think that like you really do, like, I don't think you don't get to be stressed just because you aren't dealing with the same things as other people. Like, I think that
Yeah.
people who don't have kids also are
Yeah.
allowed to feel the tension and stress, because I feel like teaching especially is one of those professions that is like it's like it just fills whatever space you give it. And so when I became a mom,
So true.
I got so much better at compartmentalizing and being like, no, I'm done with working at this time because I'm not giving my kids time to that. Whereas when it was just me, I was like, well, I can, take all of this grading home and I'm going to spend all this time on it and all of that and
Yeah.
spend an extra hour and a half on lesson planning and all of that. Like you're still doing a ton as an educator. It's just, I feel like your priorities shift a little bit once you have kids, and
Yeah.
hopefully not terribly to the detriment of your students, but
Yeah. And that's what it's February, right? So like the new year resolutions, all of that. I don't know if I fully believe in resolutions, just because it's like you should be able to set goals for yourself like anytime ever. But it is, nice to have like, okay, this year I'm really focusing on this. So I know like I've kind of reached the point where I'm like, okay, I'm really going to take care of like me physically, like all of the elements wise. So knowing that I am doing what you just said of like, I'm not taking things home and then like, instead of going home and doing nothing, like my child is going to be like myself. So that's why I do want to be intentional of like, I'm going to go do that workout class that I don't want to do, but I'm going to love it in the moment and it's going to be fine. And I'm going to make good, healthy meals and I'm going to go spend time with my friends. I'm going to go on a walk. And so I think, yeah, I hear what you're saying of everyone's stressed in their own ways, but
Yeah.
it's just different translations of it all.
Yeah. And, I think that it ends up being really challenging as a teacher because not only are we managing our own like mental health and like all of that stuff that we have going on, but we're also picking up on how the students are feeling, which is very seasonal. Like people who aren't teachers,
my gosh.
like
it is so insane to teachers are empaths. And I really mean that. And I really mean that.
Denver, I'm going to be so real with you. I hate it when people say someone is an empath. I think that is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard.
Explain why do you hate it so much?
Yes, I can, because being empathetic means you're not a freaking sociopath.
No,
you don't get a special cookie for being empathetic. It just means that you're a fully formed person that can empathize with other people.
No, that is so factually true. Like, okay, you're empathetic. Does that mean everyone else is not? Like, we're all just sociopaths?
I just feel like when people say like, I'm just an empath, and I feel like it's one of two things.
So you're
Number
a human?
one, you either are just a normal human, or
you're so right on this.
If you're like, no, I just feel it more, so you're codependent and you need—
Ooh, get them.
Like you maybe need some help a little bit. Like it's one of the two, and I hate it. So anyways.
That's a hot take. No, that's a hot take. I think, okay, let me rephrase. I think teachers are so aware of the empathy that they have.
Yeah.
Does that sound better
for you,
No,
that's fine.
Doctor?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it. Yep.
Okay. Because of the seasonal emotions that these children have.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Like I know this comes out in February, like we said, but it's December.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. We have 12 days until break.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you go to Disneyland and every kid there you're in charge of, but they also have just had something traumatic happen to them. Have a great day. Go
now
get your
learn something.
And go. Now learn. Also teach them.
It's bad.
Wild out here, guys.
You know how I feel about moon cycle stuff.
Yeah, you absolutely love it. And Andrea loves it as much as I do.
Yeah. Love it so much. But I will say that the full moon thing as an educator is the most real thing ever. Like I had one of my students came in during their field experience and they were like, today was really bad. Like, I don't know what was in the water with those kids. They were acting horrible. I couldn't get them to do anything. And I said, was it full moon? And then we literally looked and it had been a full moon the night before. And I was like,
wild.
There you go. I was like, every time. There you go. It's not like I'm looking at the moon calendar and being like, oh yes, a full moon. It's going to be a bad one. It's always like, what is wrong
is Mercury
right now?
In Gatorade?
Is it in Gatorade? Maybe in microwave.
And it is in microwave.
Every time it's in microwave. And so when we look, every single time, literally, I will be like, okay, the kids are acting unwell. Let's check. And yep. Mercury's
What's so
in
nice
microwave.
about that too is just like your students saying that, it's so nice to, you just give each other a look of like, was that rough for you? Yeah, it was rough for me. Like it's such a universal experience. Thank God, because then I would feel like I was going medically insane.
Right.
Which I am, but you know.
Well, okay. So on the whole empathy front and the things that we are feeling with our students. So today in December 4th, the CEO of I think it was Union Health, which is a major health insurance company.
Yes.
Was shot and killed in New York City, like on the street. Like a gunman came up and shot him and killed him on the street. and horrifying. Like, he's like, I don't know, probably like maybe 10 years old. I mean, like, looks like he's in his mid 40s.
No.
Like, I know nothing about him other than that information. But if you read the comments on every single news article, every single thing that I am seeing right now is like, oh, unfortunately, my empathy is out of network. Or, oh, these comments are like, these comments have met the deductible. And like every single one is like a joke, is like a joke
happening.
Okay, so here's the thing. Because I do not condone violence. That is not right. This guy has a family and kids, I'm sure, and all of these things, right? But literally, my first thought when I saw that was, I wasn't surprised, honestly, that he got attacked, because people, and I didn't even realize, like, because I've been screwed over by health companies by so I had to get my ADHD meds, and so I had to get a referral to a psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist appointments just to get my ADHD meds are $250, and I have health insurance. What? And so
I'm sorry,
things like that. 100%, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that's absurd. Keep going.
And that's like a relatively little thing. And then you think about people who are very sick and they can't get access to medication they need, and their loved ones are literally dying.
Yeah, honestly.
And it is all coming down to because health insurance companies want to have a better bottom line. And who is the person making some of those choices? A lot of times it's going to be like the CEO, the CFO, all of these people, and then all of the people they answer to, right? And so I think it's horrible that it happened, but like I wasn't surprised that it happened, and I wasn't very surprised to see some of those comments, because I guess I didn't realize how many people are so angry. Like, to me, that was just a symptom of like, people are so angry at healthcare companies right now. I feel like the two organizations that are dealing with that probably have the most communal cultural hate towards them are health insurance companies and airlines.
Oh my gosh.
Those two, like
$1,000,000,000%.
Yeah. Like, because we're all just sick of getting screwed over.
100%. I think it's almost incomprehensible in the sense of, my dad and I were just having this conversation. I don't remember explicitly what we were talking about, but it's 1984. Like, we are entering the brink of that. We're there.
Yeah.
And you're right. Everyone just being so angry, and so you're not listening to us. We are defenseless. We're helpless. I don't know what else to feel besides anger and apathy and...
Right. Because that's what happens, is people just like throw up their hands. And I just thought it was really interesting and really, quite honestly, very sad.
That was today?
That was today. Yeah. It happened like this afternoon. And then the news or the police department came out and said, like, we don't think it was random. We think this was a targeted attack. And then all of the comments were like, yeah, I bet it was. Like, I bet it was. And I'm like... Like that,
that's just such a heavy topic.
Yeah. And it's just like, so like, it's insane to think that like, that's kind of where people are at now, is that there is that much like communal rage. But speaking about rage at companies, I want to hear about your flight back from Australia.
Oh my Lanta. Buckle in now. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
So flight to Australia, if you don't know, it's about 16 hours.
Yeah, it's a hefty flight.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. I was so fortunate enough. Like, I can't believe I got to do this. This was crazy. We flew business class there.
Nice.
If I had all the money in the world, I would pay for everyone to have business class anywhere, especially somewhere like that. You have to do it that way.
Yeah.
We got a bed. I mean, I slept 80% of the time. Great.
Amazing.
Okay. My sister, so flash forward, we had a great Australia trip. My sister also had to go to the airport the same morning as us because she was going to New Zealand. And so my family and I are a few hours early to the airport for our flight, which I think was still morning time. It was it was 6 a.m. like that we got to the airport. So early. We return the rental car, we check in, we go to the little lounge same type of, we're like, oh, this is going to be so great. And again, not to be this person because it's first world problems, but I was so happy to be leaving when we did because I had another little trip planned with my college girlfriends that we always do something together. We haven't been together since probably November. No, not November, maybe summer. So it had been like a few months. Just like, what a great way to end break. Okay.
Right.
We're sitting in the lounge, me and my mother and my father, and we hear something on the intercom that says, "Attention passengers on whatever the hell, your flight has been canceled." Now, I have never had a flight canceled in my life.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like,
you're so
never.
lucky.
I know. So I was like, surely that's a mistake.
Like, that's crazy. That doesn't happen to me.
No, that's not. And my mom was like, no. Like, I'm going to go down. I'm going to check with the front desk and see what's going on. Should I say the airline?
Yeah.
United. My mom goes down and my dad and I, and we're exhausted because we have had some days. We've done some things. We've been up and at 'em and ready to go.
Right.
My mom says, I'm going to go down. I'm going to ask. She comes back. No, the lady down there said, I don't know why they said that. It is not canceled. It's just delayed a couple hours. We're still on a flight tonight. Like, you're still going today. So instead of leaving at our flight was at 12, we were going to leave at 2. Fine.
Right.
Another announcement goes on. It's canceled. And so we keep looking on like the United app. We check just like online to see like the status, and it still says delayed, 2 hours delayed. It indeed was canceled. So I learned this, and I'm sure everyone who has had canceled flights, this is quite literally how they handle it. If you've never had a canceled flight, this is how they do it. Your flight has been canceled. Next. They couldn't give 2 shits even if they tried. It's just figure it out, which would be fine if we were in Arizona.
Right.
Dare I say New York. Cool. We're in a different country. So the options were tonight, that same night. No, I'm sorry. The next day, same flight, I think. Or December 3rd, which was 3 days later.
Yeah.
So the next day doesn't sound too bad, right? We'll get a hotel. Where are we going to get a hotel? And all the hotels are billions of dollars.
Aren't they supposed to pay for your hotel when they do that?
Get into this, babe. Nope, because it was a weather issue. So anything that has to do with weather, they cannot compensate your stay, your transportation, booking a different flight. It's basically get out of my face and we'll see you never.
This is why people have such rage towards flying.
I mean, and if you've never, especially traveling with family, there comes a point when you're like,
I can't look at your face anymore. I don't want to
stay in here. No, I don't want to talk to you. Don't. I love you so much, but like, wow. So we're all trying to stay so calm. We are deciding, like, should we go find a hotel? Do we take that other flight? We're booked for the next day, so we need to find. I think we were booked the next day, but it wasn't going to be business class. It was with the normies.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on the floor of the airport trying to figure out what to do. We had to go collect our bags because they're like, you can't stay here. You gotta go. So we're sitting on the floor and I'm trying to find flights, any flights. Like, I'm like looking on Expedia, I'm looking on everything. My mom's doing the same. My dad's trying to find a hotel. Like, we're all kind of doing our part.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're sitting in front of this like travel center thing where those travel agents are. Yeah. And before we give up of like, okay, we'll just be on the flight tomorrow. I think the struggle was the flight the next day. We would get home Sunday night, which we just knew we were going to be exhausted and I had to go back to work the next, like everyone was going to be too tired.
Right.
So I'm like, no, what if we ask the person in there? Let's just talk to him and see what he says. thank God, hallelujah, we did that, because the man that was working there, his name is Nathan. He is so amazing. Travel center, Sydney Airport. Like, he probably worked with us for like 2.5 hours
Oh my
trying to find
gosh.
flight. Like, he would not give up.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so we ended up finding a flight that same night where it was a newer airline. It was economy. So it was like the main cabin. We would fly from Sydney to Honolulu, Honolulu to LAX.
Amazing.
Amazing. So we were like, we're just going to have to tough it out. There was no food. There was no beverages. It was just, in the words of my dad, he wanted to raw dog the flight,
Oh God.
which is just sitting there like this. And he
just
basically
staring
did that
in front of him. Nice.
Yeah. So we ended up doing that. Man, my body hurts from
Yeah, I
doing
bet.
that for like 16 hours
Yeah.
and just kind of being upright.
Yeah.
And my headphones are Bluetooth, so I couldn't connect to the frickin' TV. I was so exhausted. Mind you, we got up at 5 a.m. At this point, it is 5 p.m. that we're leaving. Get to Honolulu early in the morning. And then immediately had to, because it's not connecting flights. They were two separate flights. I'm sorry, the story is so long, but it's insane. Two connecting flights. So we had to go get our bags. Luckily, I knew the airport very well, because that's where I flew in for school and stuff. So I just knew where to go. Had to go get our bags, recheck in, immediately sprinting to our gate because they were boarding. Get on that flight. It gets so much better. We land and it's Saturday night, which don't ask me how that works. We leave on a Saturday and land on a Saturday.
You
Not
go
sure.
back in
The
time a
Earth's
little bit.
spinning. You
Right.
do. We get there. Guess what? My bag is missing.
No.
Are you kidding? So this has happened to us before. Someone took my bag thinking it was their bag when they had a freaking bag tag on their bag.
Oh my gosh.
So I look at the bag tag. Mind you, this is 20 hours of travel. And we're like,
Yeah.
This has got to be a joke.
Yeah.
I get the phone number. I call them. They're still at the airport when we exchange bags. Thankfully.
Thank God.
But that was I have never had a travel experience. It could have been a lot worse. And then I go to bed and I wake up the next day at 3:30 p.m., which was great because then the sun was going down at 4:30 and I'm still recovering. That's why I look like this.
That's why you're exhausted. Yeah.
That's why I'm exhausted.
It's a good reason to be exhausted. Amazing. I'm glad you
Insane.
made it, because you literally would have
I'm back.
shown up like yesterday had you not been
Literally yesterday. And then joined work middle of the week.
Okay, so we're going to do our shout out for a review that somebody left a little earlier than usual, because Denver, I'm going to have you read this review.
Okay.
Normally I do that at the very end, but I'm going to have you read that one.
Wow, 5 stars. I love the podcasts, but did we already run out of guests? Why is Denver back again? Time for some new guests. Oh.
Denver, how do you feel about that?
Oh. Let me read it again.
Okay, great.
We ran out of guests. Why is Denver back again?
Also, read their name.
Disappointed 580. Okay, so this person just sounds miserable to begin with.
But they
Your
gave 5
username
stars.
Okay, so what's your actual name is what I want to know.
I don't know, but
Did we run out of guests? This is not a we. First of all. Well, you don't like me? Am I not enough for you? Time for some new. You know what I'm going to do for you? Disappointed 585. I'm going to show up in a wig next time. I'm going to wear a wig and I'll have an accent and I'll give a completely different story. That's what we're going to do to keep you satisfied. How about that?
It's fine. It's fine. No,
It's actually pretty funny.
I started laughing so hard when I saw
that. It's really
funny. But yeah, no, Denver comes on all the time because I'm obsessed with her. And
do you guys want me to be gone?
No, literally we have a whole Patreon so that you and I can hang out somewhere.
Right.
So yeah.
And I'm obsessed. I love being here.
Yeah. Good. Sorry, disappointed 585. She'll be on pretty much every other week. So
yeah, sorry.
Mark your calendars.
You can stop watching if you want.
I mean,
actually, don't.
We need listeners, so don't go anywhere.
You need listeners. Don't go anywhere. But that is so funny.
Yeah, acquire a taste for Denver because she's sticking around. So acquire it.
And you could pay $5 if you really love me and join our Patreon.
Yes, obviously. Okay, where can people find you other than our lovely Patreon, those who can read? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at keepingupwithmiss.b. And
Amazing.
I am out here trying.
You have been so good about posting. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am trying to be consistent with
Amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So go check her out there, guys. And we will be right back. Welcome back to Those Who Can't Do. As usual, I had so much fun chatting with Denver. And if you're my parents and listen to the Amsterdam story, I am so sorry. I make much better life decisions. And thankfully, I was okay. And our Matt was okay. My brother was okay. Everybody was okay. So I'm sorry. If you have thoughts about what we chatted about today, or hey, want to say nice things about Denver in the reviews, you can hit us up, Andrea at human-content.com, or you can contact me at Educator Andrea, or you can contact the Human Content Podcast family at Human Content Pods. The full video episodes are up every week on YouTube. And I already read the review, but I do want to remind you, if you haven't done a review yet, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, and it would just make my day. It would make Denver's day too, unless you say mean things about her. And then I don't know. We still had fun reading the reviews pretty much regardless. So please leave a review. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Andrea Forkham. A very special thank you to our guest co-host today, Denver Riley. Our executive producers are Andrea Forkham, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brooke. Our editor is Andrew Sims. Our engineer is Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. Our recording location is Indiana State by College of Education. To learn more about our Those Who Can't Do's program disclaimer and ethics policy and submission, verification, and licensing terms, you can go to podcasterandrea.com. Those Who Can't Do is a Human Content production. Thank you so much for watching. If you're like me and you're thinking, gosh, I really need more Those Who Can't Do in my life, you can start your binging right now by clicking on that playlist button right over there. New episodes are out every Thursday, so please subscribe and join us each week on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Human content.